Hello, salut, bonjour. Welcome to a special edition of The Lost Bay, a show about and with indie TTRPG creators and artists. I'm Chris Airiau, he, they. I'm an indie game writer. I'm working with Eco on The Swine, which is the intro adventure included in the book Urban Legends for The Lost Bay RPG. And today I'm joined by two indie creators, and together we'll be creating characters for The Lost Bay RPG using the Quick Start Rulebook, which is a condensed version of the full game, which is still available on pre-order at thelostbayrpg.com. So what is The Lost Bay? The Lost Bay RPG is a suburban gothic TTRPG set in an alternate version of 1990X. This is a place where the mundane and the magical mix together. It's a game for 1 to 6 players and can be played with the GM or as a solo game. The Lost Bay is also the name of the setting. This is a massive coastal suburb stuck between marshes, desert, and sea. And in The Lost Bay, the characters are young and weird with a capital W, right? They have these quasi-supernatural powers, and we'll get into that with the character creation. But before we do, I would like to present Sam Leigh and Alan Hall, both indie designers who have worked on projects for The Lost Bay RPG. And so I'll just hand it over to them. Please tell us about yourselves, where to find you, and about your projects a little bit.
Thanks, Chris. My name's Sam, she, they. I am an indie TTRPG designer and editor. I publish under Blinking Birch Games, and my work is primarily solo games like Anamnesis and Outliers. But for The Lost Bay, I am the editor of the game, and I also created a module called the Parabyte, which is about a haunted Tamagotchi.
All right.
Very 1990X.
Yes, for sure.
Well, good morning, Sam. Good afternoon, Chris. I'm Alan Hall, he, him. I am a game designer. I've written several of my own games, but for The Lost Bay, I'm mainly writing adventures. So I've published a few adventures, Elevator Game, Moe's House of Meat, and Diesel Service, and I've got a few more coming along for later this year. So I publish as M. Alan Hall, but that's pretty much me. Happy to be here for sure.
Moe's House of Meat is a phenomenal name for an adventure. I love that.
So that was for an itch.io game jam about designing things that look like menus. So I was
great.
It's got to be a menu. I'm like, it's got to be something about a restaurant. And I'm like, well, let's make it Lost Bay. And there's going to be some meat. And maybe you're going to order something on the menu. Maybe you're going to be on the menu. Like, you don't know.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's a fun little solo adventure.
Nice.
Meet some weirdos along the way as you go, and
there are definitely some weirdos.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say we're all pretty well versed in all things Lost Bay, and I think it's a super big secret for other people that we all know each other pretty well too. So, but what's cool is we've never actually played Lost Bay together, so I think it's really nice to have this chance to kind of jump into the character creation. So the character creation in Lost Bay is very simple, and it begins with the vibes, right? So the complete rulebook has 10 starting vibes, and then there's also 3 post-death vibes, right? So like if your character dies, then there's a possibility to come back as this sort of revenant with totally different powers, right? It's the different person. It's pretty cool. And the 10 starting vibes in the complete book, complete rules are Scanner, Screamer, a Monarch, Junker, Wildling, Shifter, Sunken, and then the 3 that are in the quick start that we'll be using today are Firestarter, Splinter, and Seer. So to make characters, you can use an online character sheet, or even print off one of 2 character sheets that have been designed by Scragend. I have them today just to show off a little bit. I printed this off my crappy printer, which is behind me. And also, Elevator Game's also back there, Alan. But yeah, it still worked out pretty well, even though my printer's running out of ink. Or, printers lying to me. I don't know. But
yeah, I love that.
They're very cool. And these are on the itch page, which are totally free to download and to make a copy of the online character sheet. And that's at the-lost-bay.itch.io. So you can grab those there. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and just start choosing vibes and just get into it. So what are you thinking for today?
Sure. I am going to create a fire starter. A very, as it is pretty obvious, flame-based magic person. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and read the background text on your fire starter.
Sure.
So you craft DIY hyper incandescent flares and fireworks. Pouring rain won't stop you from lighting a fire. You find comfort under the summer sun or close to a bonfire, and you despise shadow and ambiguity. Ashes permanently stain your fingers. You're fearless and bold, fascinated by fire and flames like the one that burns inside you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Candles are dangerous and places to be. It's like, all right. And Alan, so what are the other two left over? What's most interesting you think for you today?
So I'll take the seer.
That's good because actually those are the two that I've played already, so I've not actually been to Splinter.
Perfect.
So
All right, so you get a new one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome.
So the seer, you decipher death threats hidden in chemtrails and guess the names whispered by fashion models. Your collection of coincidences, patterns, and warnings grows each day. All you see are the signs. When your soul drowns under the weight of unshareable secrets, you perform obscure rituals with feathers, bottle caps, and bone powder.
I'm very excited to start rolling a bunch of random stuff into a bowl. Then
Yeah.
and seeing the future. That's like my thing. One of the old Robin Hood King of Thieves or Prince of Thieves is an old Robin Hood movie where there's a witch and she does a lot of that, throwing bones into a bowl and writing with blood in it. And it's very fun. That's me now.
That's awesome.
So
I'll take the Splinter then. That's
Great.
It's exciting to do something new.
Okay. This Splinter is, you're so broken that you can't break anymore. You've been through it all and fear nothing, except what secretly haunts you. Even as you long for a home, you can't stay still, roaming endlessly through the Lost Bay and valuing freedom above all else. The road is yours, for better or worse.
All right. Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be good. So now with the vibes chosen, the next thing we do is to choose the powers. So every character starts with one passive power that's always active. Right. It's something that you can think about using in all sorts of situations that you just are constantly aware of. And then you have two active powers. You can choose two out of the 6 that are available. What I like about this is that there's 6, and that if you don't know what to take, you can just roll a d6, because I just appreciate not having to think sometimes.
Sometimes it's nice.
Yeah, just don't think.
Absolutely.
Just roll the dice. It's cool.
Yeah.
But they're also really cool powers too, so it's hard to not choose at least one, I think. So let's go ahead and go through these. So for the fire starter, you do start with the passive power Unburn, which is when you're taking fire damage, instead of losing a heart, you lose weird. So you can walk through flames, right? And then just kind of take that to the weird instead of getting hurt by that.
Perfect.
And for the seer, the passive power, Alan, that your character has is keep vigil, sense imminent danger.
That's helpful.
I
Probably there's a lot
of
imminent danger in the Lost Bay.
I apologize to anybody that would be GMing for this character, because I would abuse the heck out of that. It's just every room, keep vigil.
Yeah, keep vigil, right? I mean, in my experience, it's just kind of made me more uneasy than anything else.
Because the answer is always yes. It's yes, there's imminent danger. Yes, there's imminent danger.
Oh gosh.
That's a great way to play it too. If you're the GM and you know that the character
The answer's always going to be yes.
Just say Seer, keep vigil. That's it, right? Seer would be like, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I like that. I'll take it.
Cool. And then for the Splinter, which is the one I've not played yet, so I'll remember what it is. is endure. If you have weird points, lose weird instead of heart when your heart reaches 1. All right. That makes sense too with the whole wandering, like kind of sleeping in like broken down cars and right, hopping
I feel like this might be
razor fences.
I feel like this might be a good time to maybe touch briefly on what weird and heart are in the system.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more, like when we do the attributes for sure. Yeah, but like just grosso modo, it's like heart is your health and weird is your mana, but it's a little bit more specific than that in the last bay. But yeah, it's a good
summary.
Yeah, I think that gives people a good base.
You lose your heart when you take damage, and you're mostly losing weird when you're using your magic.
Yeah. It's weird though, because it's not. Anyway, yeah, we'll get into it. But
it's very weird. It's capital W.
That's
weird.
why it's weird.
So
with a capital W.
Yeah.
So Sam, what do you think? What powers are interesting you for the Firestarter?
I think I'm going to pick one and roll one. So I'll roll one first and see what that comes out to be, which is a 3, so that's Ignite. Deal damage as flow, gear required, which I believe means I have to expend a gear in order to ignite something. And I think for the other one, I'm going to do Suffocate. Seems like one that would be interesting to play with. So for my active powers, Suffocate and Ignite.
All right.
You're terrifying. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Good one. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
and Alan, for Seer, anything that's kind of speaking to you? Do you see the signs?
So I'll do the same. I'll take one at random. We'll roll one. That's a 5. Summon, which is described as summon darkness, requires dust. And I guess it just that would be fun. I'll take that. And then as far as picking one, I'm going to go with Dead Speak, which
cool.
One thing I like about the powers is that has no description. It just has a title. It's just Dead Speak. You know what it means. In the game that I played for a while, there was plenty of times that would have become unhelpful. There was lots of dead things, either recently or less recently. It was that would certainly have been something I'd be using. So I would do that. So I'm not really doing any. So you've got some very attacking powers there, Sam. So I'm sitting back and reading the signs. I like it.
I like that. Good balance.
We need you always have to have a little balance in a party.
I'm gonna roll for both of these because I'm just a madman apparently.
Bold.
Here we go. I rolled, of course, double 6s, so
of course, yes.
choose one afterward. Anyway,
right,
right. The signs are telling me I need to choose one. So 6 is Shelter. Allies at close range don't take damage for flow rounds, but you cannot move. So flow is one of the attributes of the characters. So it would be like, which can be anywhere between 2, actually 1, right, and 5. So it can be anywhere between 1 to 5 rounds, depending on what my flow ends up being. And the other one, I mean, Shatter just sounds like too much fun to pass up, I think, right? Deal damage as flow, but gear required. So just shattering, just imagine like shattering like a wall or something, to crumble something over. I don't know. That sounds cool.
Very in line with that vibe, I think, the playbook.
All right, cool. Next up, we have our gear. So this is a 1d6 to roll, and there's just a table of loadouts there for you. I think one thing that's really cool about this game that I really appreciate is that you don't have like loads of encumbrance rules. It's just you can carry 5 things. That's it. Just buy, No, I guess you can have like a backpack or like a coat with lots of pockets, right? And that can increase it up to 2, I think, like up to like 7 total. Like if you have like something like that, but also, maybe that would affect your flow or something, or you can get caught in stuff if you're carrying a big backpack around. People notice you more, right? But I like that. Just 5 things, you're done. That's it. Yeah.
well, I can roll on the starting gear then. There's 6 of them here. So for the fire starter, I rolled a 6, which is 3 screaming firecrackers, a red ink ballpoint pen, a hand-drawn map, and $5, which is excellent.
$5. That's gonna be helpful. I don't know.
I like that. It's the only one. Normally, I'm glancing at these other ones. These other ones don't mention currency at all. It's just this one. Yeah, $5 on you.
Yeah,
That might be the first time I've seen money in this whole game.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
Love it. It's awesome.
I mean,
I'm
we're
terrified of that ballpoint pen, though.
Yeah, but we were also 18, 20 to 23-year-olds, right? We don't have loads of money to spend on stuff. Broke.
Hopefully we have $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you do.
I do.
Right. I think with my seer, I spent a lot of time just stealing stuff, trying to sneak into places and stealing paint and things.
It's like we're not paying for this. I'm just gonna take it.
It's all right. They closed down their operations. It'll be okay. I'm not worried about it.
All right, so I will roll for my gear as the seer, and I rolled a 4. So I get newspaper clippings, incense sticks, a bone whistle, and scissors. Nice.
That's
So
great. You're talking a lot
I'll be
about bones. So
I was talking a lot about bones. I don't know if I'm going to do much whistling, but at least the scissors could be a weapon, since I need a weapon a little bit. You got to protect yourself.
Yeah,
Can't just be
cutting out
hanging
more
out.
newspaper. Right.
I'll just be hanging out in the Splinter's shelter the whole time. It's like, shelter me, please.
the newspaper clippings seem like fun. I feel like that could be a fun thing to just bring up in various scenarios. I think I've heard about this before, we're fishing through this stack.
Well, as this year, right? I probably only grabbed clippings that were important.
Sure.
Right? I don't know why they're important yet, but it's I like this is important. This is gonna be important. So put it in my bag. I just your $5. I have now a visual of just my newspaper clippings rolled up with a rubber band around them. And it's I got this big wad. And it's somebody oh, that's a lot of them. It's no, this is just newspaper clipping. There's no money here.
Right. Don't worry about it.
I have no money, just newspaper.
It's some of them are from the 70s as well. It's why do you have these old newspapers?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be important sometime. I like
Right.
that. I like that. I'm playing. I can totally play that.
Okay, well, time for the Splinter. Let's see what I got on me. I rolled a 4 as well. So, this works really well with Shatter already. Jagged brass knuckles. Meat
Nice.
jelly. Inflatable cushion. Right? So if I need to take a nap in a broken down car. And mint candies.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Right. Just
That
I
is
imagine
such a
those lifesaver rolls, right? Just popping a lifesaver.
I mean, you're going to need something to do while you're sheltering me for flow rounds. So you might as well just have a seat, have some candy.
I'm almost imagining not just an inflatable cushion, but maybe one of those inflatable chairs, right?
Oh, yes. Excellent.
It's excessive.
That's really good.
Absolutely.
The meat jelly sounds like it belongs on your menu, Alan.
It does, actually. I don't really know what that means. Is it jelly for meat, or is it jelly of meat? Because I know some people put mint jelly on I think lamb. That's a thing. But I'm a little worried, honestly.
I'm thinking a can of Spam, something like that, right? Or maybe a jar of
Do people
pate.
call Spam jelly?
I hope not.
I don't know. That's it. No, it is. It's Spam jelly, right?
What?
It's a specialized that's what I got. It's
it's
great.
the Spam logo.
Awful.
It's jelly. It's everything that they couldn't get into the Spam. They're we'll just put it in a jar and call it jelly.
It's terrible. Definitely a marketing ploy for sure. To get that bad press is good press.
I mean, it is the Bay. Somebody would do it.
It is the Bay. Yeah, you're right.
What are we gonna do with all this leftover Spam juice we got? Wait a second.
I feel like anything in the Lost Bay could be described by somebody going, "Well, it is the Bay."
That's the vibe. Meat jelly. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then I guess the last bit too to talk about, just for the vibe. That's all the parts for the creation of the vibe. But also each vibe has their own living saint. And so the living saints are these immortals that live in the Lost Bay. They are good, right? I mean, they're more neutral than like straight up good, and that's directly the like source of the vibe powers, right? So each of us have our own living saints, which we may have glimpsed in a vision or like had very brief encounters with, or maybe have never even seen and not sure that they exist, right? Depending on the character. Let's go ahead and begin with the fire starter. Who is the living saint of the fire starters?
Sure. The fire starter's saint is Fire Demon, Son of the Sun. SON of the SUN, which I really like.
All right.
All right. And then the seer serves Lucy the Eyeless, who has, I feel like that character has been around since very early renditions of this game. This this old woman with no eyes and that works perfectly for the seer for me. I love that. No physical eyes, but still can see everything.
Yes, good.
Mm-hmm. And for the splinter, it's the hardcore wanderer, right? They're basically this kind of person who just travels the bay in a very similar way as like the splinters do, right? I think their abode is underneath a bridge, right? So it's just like the kind of person who's just constantly on the move. I think that's definitely something that I can relate to, right? Having like moved around my whole life, like never. I think the longest place I've ever been in any place is like 5 years or something. So like I'm always been like bouncing around. So I think that's really cool, just how it can speak to personal situations like that. This game.
Yeah, agreed. The adventure in the quick start is also about this creature called the Hollow Hitchhiker, and I'm like, I feel like the Hollow Hitchhiker and the Hardcore Wanderer are like, they're either tight or they hate each other. You know, they definitely know what's going on there. I think.
Yeah, there's some bad blood, or like,
yeah.
I feel like at some point there was, and again, there have been several iterations of the rules here. Was there a time when the immortals that back the vibes each has like a counterpart that's like sort of an evil counterpart kind of a thing?
That rings a bell, but I don't remember specifics.
Because I specifically remember it was in Diesel Service. There's the Shadow and the Cat, and the cat was the immortal that was the backing for the for a previous vibe that isn't in the game right now. The Asphalt Kitten, who's like a skater, and then their like evil counterpart was the Shadow. And so in the Diesel Service module that I wrote, after consulting with Eco about lore stuff for the Bay, is you're sort of trying to stop the summoning of the Shadow, who's been banished from the Bay, being brought back to the Bay.
Cool.
But yeah, it was like the immortals being the good ones, and then there were sort of like an evil version of it, where an immortal that was a bad version.
Yeah, I guess like the big one is the faceless god, right? Who's the one?
Yeah, that's above even all these.
Yeah.
In the sort of the looming evil that you don't know, that who knows if he's coming. Is he coming back? I feel like that's it's a good bit of lore for people to build a campaign around, is this faceless god, and is he when is he coming back? Is he coming back? Can you make him not come back?
Hopefully.
Stave off the inevitable, right? It's kind of the or
Absolutely.
not, just kind of hang out as the bay burns around you, right? So
yeah, I'd probably like that.
Burning.
Yeah,
like this whole eternal summer thing is fine for you.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. I can live. I won't have any weird, but I'll live.
yeah.
Oh god.
All right. So the next part of the character creation, and this is again before we get into like the attributes and weird points, but this is kind of helping us define who this character is. And so this is basically just two different tables and a couple other things to roll. And it does ask you to roll here, but again, like especially for the table for how did you get your weird, like if there's some weird prompts that really speak to you, or like if you already have a name for your character, you don't it's not obligatory that you must roll to decide these things. But yeah, the first one is this 3d66 table, right? How did you get the weird? Where the first 6 is the row and the second 6 is the column. We do that 3 times, and that gets us 3 different words. And these words basically serve as like a prompt to develop like a scene or a story or a moment in our characters' lives which is like the genesis of their weird. So
I'll roll for it. I kind of want to roll for all 3. I think that's interesting. Okay, so that was double 5s, which is kiss. The next one is 4 and 1, which is skin. And the next one is 6 and 5, which is road.
Ooh.
That took a turn.
Ooh,
Yeah, it did.
I was like going one way and then road.
Yeah. I feel like this feels to me like some sort of accident that happened with the road prompt here and the skin prompt here. I feel like there was some sort of crash, and the like kiss of the fire from that crash is when my character woke up afterwards and had these new abilities that they did not before. I think in their kind of haze throughout it, maybe saw visions of the immortal, the fire demon son of the sun, maybe whispering things that they didn't quite understand, and may or may not ever understand.
That is badass.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Excellent.
All right, I will also roll for all 3. So we got 6-3, which I'm going to say is sleeping. 6-5, again, road.
Okay.
And then 1-3, which is photograph. Sleeping, road, and photograph for my seer.
That feels good for a seer. Sleeping and photograph, especially for seer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like maybe was on the road, so as sort of didn't have a home, and so sort of combination of had a vision in their sleep, maybe related to a photograph or something along the lines of, had a vision and then woke up, didn't know what it was. That was a dream that they remembered more than usual. And then let's say a while later, days, weeks, sees a photograph that triggers that memory of that vision, and it's like all connected. And that was their like first realization that they could see something coming. Like they're like, this is definitely something I've seen before. And that definitely is at the core of their wad of newspaper clippings.
Yeah,
that's
the
cool.
first thing
Love
rolled
that.
up in the center.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That photograph got rolled up and put in the pocket. Like, this is important. I've seen this. And then ever since then, just been adding the newspaper clippings on that roll.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
awesome.
like the visions from the dreams as well, or like do you think there's other visions that are happening like that are waking now even?
I think it was the dream was the first one they realized. So wait, this is actually a thing. And the more they thought about it, the more that they focused on it, they were like, wait, this has been happening all along. And I was just ignoring it. Just didn't know it was happening. But now they're like, wait, this is real. Like, I did see that happening. I did see that coming. That kind of stuff. I like that.
Okay. That is cool. Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll as well for how I got the weird here. So this first roll, I have 22 waves. The next one is 33. Strange, doubles again.
Cool.
A blade.
Oh.
And the last one, 56. Oh, again, road. Whoa.
Okay.
That's
What a
really
road.
strange. What happened? Anyhow, I guess like we have Waves, Blade, and Road. I guess like I had talked about like the idea of like sleeping outside, right? And like in like broken down cars. So maybe like this one was on a beach,
Oh, neat. Yeah.
right? And just not thinking about it, like high tide comes and it's like crashing up against the car and they like dragging it in and it's like pulling me down. And then like a hand, like I don't know, maybe like also I'm like strapped up in like the seatbelt or something like that. And then like a hand just comes in like to the window and hands me a blade.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, I just like take it and I use it to cut like the things off and climb out and there's no one there afterwards. Right.
I love that. Ooh, it's spooky. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah.
Right. I'm just like, what's going on? Where'd this person go? And then like maybe from that point on, just kind of like feeling this kind of hardness of like, already like been on the brink of death. And it kind of like fuels the character.
That's great.
I really wanted you to shatter your way out of the car.
Yeah, that's probably would have been a good idea, right? Just because
you got the blade, you get out of the seatbelt, you're still in the car.
Right.
There's glass.
Yeah, that's right. Just do something like just like this and just totally
car just explodes.
Yeah, just the whole thing blows out entirely, right?
Nice.
Climb out. And then no footprints even on the beach. Right. Just nothing.
Fun.
Love it.
That's cool.
All right, so you might notice that I look a little bit different right now. That is because we realized while Eco was doing the editing that we had forgotten to roll for how our characters recover the weird. So to rectify that, I'm going to be rolling for all three of our characters. So each character has weird, and they'll use that weird to use their powers during their adventure. And so each character also gets one from a list of 6 options how they can recover weird. It's not like HP that you can just sleep and get it back. You got to do something specific to your vibe. So we're going to roll a d6. We're going to start with our fire starter, Alexandra, and we'll see what they need to get their weird back. So that is a 2. So they need to eat warm ashes. Which of some of the options is actually probably one of the easier ones for a fire starter to accomplish. So getting weird back might not be too hard for them. So that's great. All right, now moving on to the seer, my character, Serenity. I'll roll the d6, and that's a 6. Rest in absolute darkness below ground. All right, so again, not too bad. I'm going to need to find darkness below ground. So if we're in some place where I can find a basement, great. That I'll always be looking for some place to get below ground at night to be able to get my weird back. So definitely, again, of the options here, probably pretty doable. Finally, for our splinter, Toru, we'll roll a d6. That's a 1. Wreck something you cherish. All right, this is one of the harder ones. So if Toru ever wants to get back weird that they've spent to use their powers, they're going to have to wreck something that they cherish. So I don't know how that's going to play out. How many things Toru, who's been on the road for a while, how many things that they have with them that they cherish, but I can imagine running out of those things over the course of a campaign, if you will. So that's it. So those are the ways that our character is going to be recovering their weird during their story.
All right. And then next up, we'll go ahead and I guess, do you want to roll for the name before choosing pronouns for the character?
I would. Yeah.
Sure,
that works for
fine.
me.
Okay.
So I guess, Sam, we'll keep going in order here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that is a 3 and a 1. Alexandra. I like that. A names feel right for some reason for the fire starter.
It's a very proper name. It's a lot of syllables.
Also,
Usually when you see these name lists, it's a lot of like one syllable, like this, that, this, that. It's like Alexandra.
Alexandra. Yeah. I
love
think I'll do she, they for pronouns.
Okay.
All right, and I will roll. And I am 35 Serenity.
Oh.
Serenity. Single tier. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Poor Wash.
oh no.
All right. I would play that as a she, her.
Okay.
All right. I'll go ahead, roll up. That is a 26. Toru.
Oh.
Toru. Toru feels like they, them, I think. Right.
Nice.
And then the last bit is to roll the age. So the age is 17 plus 1d6.
Okay. That is 20 for Alexandra.
Serenity is 18.
Wow.
All right. And 22 for Toru.
Awesome.
Old Man River. Or
Yeah. Right. I've been across the bay, back and forth. Right. I know all the spots to camp in, like the broken down cars, and which ones you can unlock. Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I hope to be 22 again.
Yeah. Right. Oh, crazy times. It's true.
Oh boy, it's getting real here.
All right. So then I guess the next bit is the kind of more mechanical parts of like the characters, like stats, right? The first one we choose are the heart and weird. So like we talked about before, this is kind of like HPMP, right? But the heart measures your health, but this is both physical and otherwise, right? Whether that's spiritual, mental, or whatever. This is kind of your capacity to withstand the assaults that the Bay puts on us, right? The maximum heart that you can have and maximum weird is 5. And the weird, right, is this arcane energy that fuels the powers. Oh, it's what grants life to the immortals, right? Whether it's living saints, faceless god, and the Lost Bay itself, right? So every character starts with 2 heart and 2 weird, and then you have 3 points that you can spend on increasing heart and weird as you see fit, right? So a minimum 2, maximum 5.
Okay. I think I'm going to give Alexandra 3 heart and 4 weird. Since they do have a little bit of that protection from heart. Specifically in very warm situations, but it might come in handy. So that feels good.
So for Serenity, I feel like I've already, she doesn't have any like offensive powers. She feels very much the thinker, this, reading. So I'm going to go all weird and so we're going to go to 5 weird and only keep the 2 heart. She just feels like she's just going to be staying back and away from that sort of thing, which may or may not work out for her. You never know.
Time will tell.
Right. I think Toru, they're like, I'm not sure that they even like believe in their powers. They just think that they're that awesome,
Great.
Like,
phenomenal.
Right. They don't really maybe like feel it like as something. So like I feel like their weird would be kind of lower. So I'll go 3 weird and 4 heart.
Great.
And
this
then,
is like an odd bunch. I love these. I love these 3 already.
Yeah, I'm interested to talk about too, like how they know each other, right? Like,
and again, that's perfect because I've already been saying I'm just going to be hanging out next to you, so you can shelter me with your shelter power. So it's like you got the big buff Toru. I'm like, I'm going to be back there.
Yeah, Toru's like, yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Right? Try to do my low voice as if, right? And then the attributes we have, this is force, flow, and focus. Right. Force is everything that has to do with physical strength, and also like boldness, whether that's like verbal or emotional boldness. And so this is kind of resolving actions in a like direct head-on way. The benefit with force is that this helps you avoid critical damage, right? Because when you lose your heart, it goes into your force. And you have to do a force save to not take critical damage. And so the more force you have, the sturdier you're going to be against critical damage. But of course, the negative bit is that, it's brutal and it's noisy. So, you can get into trouble using force to solve problems, like with everything, but different ways. It's benefits and disadvantages. The flow is this fast thinking, fast acting, being nimble and swift to overcome problems. This flow does increase the intensity of some active powers across the different vibes. And of course, the disadvantage here is being quick and inaccurate, right? Being a little bit messy instead of, taking your time, which kind of leads us into focus. Focus is that concentration and patience, attention to detail, really taking like a precise and calculated action when approaching obstacles. So focus is really good against the effects of horror. So whenever you come across something that's really horrific, you have a horror save, and when you roll a horror save, you're rolling focus, right? So the better your focus, the more resilient you are against horrors. But of course, when you're using focus, the negative parts could be, it's slower, and you could be exposed while doing this, right? So you need a Toru standing in front of you maybe sometimes for that.
Please.
So everyone, all characters begin with 1 point in each of these 3 attributes, and then you have 4 points to allocate across all 3. So.
Gotcha. I think that Alexandra, I do think that she is much more of a being kind of a more offensive player here. I do think she's also kind of hit fast, hit hard. So I think that I'm going to put 2 extra points into force for 3, 2 extra points into flow for 3, and then no extra points into focus for 1.
All right. So while the power gamer me wants to put it all in force, to avoid the critical damage, that is absolutely not the character that we have been talking about here. So I'm going to put none into force, and we're just going to have 1 force. I'm going to go with, I feel like the Seer stuff, while it says flow is for active powers, none of the powers that Serenity has use that. So I'm going to go with 1 point into flow for 2, and then I'm going to put all the other 3 into focus for a total of 4.
That's nice. That attention to detail feels apt, I think.
Yeah, that I feel like that's and maybe she wasn't doing that before, and that's what was opened up in her. It was like, oh, if I pay attention to stuff, all of a sudden I start seeing things that
cool.
I didn't realize were there before. So we're gonna put the 3 points into focus for it.
All right. Well, I think like Toru, it's not really much of a surprise. I'm gonna put 3 points directly into force, bump that up to 4. And then I feel like they would probably be marginally faster than they would like calculate in the way they think about things. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna put that extra 1 into flow. So it'd be force 4, flow 2, focus 1.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love this. Idea of like Toru and Alexandra being very like, let's go, let's like get it, and then our seer being like, well, hang on. Like, let's think about this for a second.
Just look at some things, give me some dust, just for a minute here.
Yeah. Herding cats, basically.
This is a great part. This would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's it for the characters. The characters are done, and after that, it's all just kind of things that we decide on, like, how did they like get together all initially? Like, are they like living in the same kind of place, or do they meet up, like have a place where they always meet up, that kind of stuff? Or if do you think you have like other kind of relevant background to your character, or maybe other relationships outside of like our group, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How they know each other is fun to talk about. I feel like Alexandra does wander around a lot too. She feels like someone to me who like knows the town pretty well and likes to take walks places. So I bet she's just like bumped into Toru a bunch, just by like wandering, right? Like probably like an odd amount, like not an amount that would be typically statistically likely.
Yeah. And each time Toru's like, oh, what a coincidence, like
yeah
totally.
Yeah.
And then I think what was your series name again?
I'm Serenity.
Serenity, that's right.
I rolled road for my how I got the weird as well.
Yeah.
We all did.
We all did.
Yeah, we all did. So I feel like Serenity was on the road but was not comfortable with it. Like something happened that she had to leave wherever she was. And maybe Toru found her, or maybe she found Toru and like latched onto them and was just like, no, this is my person. So I am with you now.
I feel like also like Serenity must have really like saved Toru's ass from doing something really stupid that like, and they were just like, oh, yeah.
Once she had the weird, when she had, like, maybe she was just like making a suggestion, like maybe you don't want to go there, or maybe you don't want to mess with that guy, and some just like little things, nothing huge. But
and each time Toru's like, oh wow, yeah,
this
a good idea.
I feel like Alexandra's maybe newer to this group. Like maybe Serenity and Toru met each other before, like you guys just kept bumping into Alexandra. I like the idea of Toru being like, oh yeah, what a coincidence. We bump into each other all the time. And like Serenity being like, that's no coincidence.
Or maybe it was like Serenity was like directing Toru, like, oh, we need to go over there because we're gonna bump into.
That's fun.
Like we're gonna find Alexandra today. It's like, I want to find Alexandra today, so we're gonna go this way today. And Toru doesn't care. Toru's just walking.
Yeah. I also like the idea that maybe like Alexandra like speaks to Toru's more like mischievous, like troublemaking side too.
Oh, for sure, absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
Just like you were describing your Sierra to steal stuff, like I'm not gonna go steal something, but I will tell you what can be stolen. Like, oh, there's nobody watching that over there.
Perfect. Oh, you guys make a perfect duo. That's great.
I love it. Oh man, this would be fun.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. We're already kind of figuring out what kind of trouble we're going to get into, right? So it's just like going into places we're not supposed to be, and then that's a great intro
GM for us.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, that's pretty much everything for character creation. So thank you so much, Sam and Alan, for coming on and making these characters with me for the Lost Bay Studio channel, right? So this is this YouTube channel will have some more videos coming out, just kind of helping people build a district or build their game, whether that's for solo or for a group. So if you do enjoy this video, please do like and then subscribe to the channel to hear more about those videos. So the quick start is available right now on itch. So that's at the-lost-bay.itch.io. And there will also be some physical versions of the quick start available soon. And you can still pre-order the full game, The Lost Bay RPG, on thelostbayrpg.com. Those are 2 hardback books, one with the rules and all of the vibes, and another with loads of adventures to get you started. So this has been the Lost Bay Studio. Thanks for listening, and stay well.
Thanks.